leaving Arsenal this summer. In addition to that, Edu making some promises for more transfers. Yes, Edu has made some promises saying Arsenal will be making way more transfers, and we need to see if he can deliver on those promises. Plus, Liverpool have just been rejected by Zubimendi, making the Mikel Merino deal to Arsenal just that much closer. And it's actually hilarious because, if I'm not mistaken, just a couple of days ago, all these Liverpool fans were making fun of Arsenal, saying, haha, he rejected you, only for him to do the same thing to yourselves. It's very funny. But yeah, let's see if Eddie Nketiah ends up at Bournemouth. Let's see what happens. But before we go any further, how are the boys doing? How you doing, Deo? How you doing, Halfway? What are you guys saying?
It's a day. I'm so conflicted today, yeah, because it was a sad day because of the Eddie Nketiah news, innit? It was a sad day, innit? But then this Zubimendi news, yeah, has given me the most life because of the person that I'm gonna be cooking later on. I cannot wait. It's now a fabulous day. So other than the heat, yeah, I don't know if you're in the UK. If you're in London right now, the heat is mad. Like
it's probably like that everywhere, bro. Let me tell everybody right now, do me a favor. Please do hit that like button. Let me know where you're watching from also. We're going to talk about Zubimendi and everything and how the implications to Arsenal also. But before we go any further, Deo, how you doing, man? Where you at? And how's the weather over there?
I'm doing great, man. The weather in Austin is hot as well. It's been hot here in the US. It's been crazy heat. Right now it's what? It's 97 degrees. Yeah, 97 in Fahrenheit. So that would be about 30, 35, 36, I think. Roughly right around there.
We don't work in that Fahrenheit stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, let me actually change it and see what.
Anyways, before we go any further, everyone in the comment section, there is a poll question: is Arsenal ready for the Premier League campaign? Yes or no? You could say yes or no for any reason. Please do let us know. But before we go any further, does Arsenal have any implications to this deal that just fell through for Liverpool? Do you guys think this directly affects Arsenal's deal for Mikel Merino? Let me know, because Zubimendi has just told Real Sociedad he will be staying, and he has rejected Liverpool's proposal to join Liverpool. This is reported to just a couple of minutes ago, 8:44. This was reported. So if you haven't seen it, Deo, if you haven't seen it, Halfway, it's probably in all the group chats that the Demandum are in. First things first, Zubimendi has decided to stay at Real Sociedad and has rejected Liverpool. This right here, I think, has a direct hand to do with the fact that Mikel Merino is steps away from joining Arsenal. If Mikel Merino wasn't steps away from joining Arsenal, I think this deal would have had a better opportunity to go through. But I think the fact that Mikel Merino is going to be joining Arsenal has had a massive hand to play in this deal falling through. Do you agree or disagree, boys? What do you guys think?
I don't even want to put us in the mix of this, man, to be honest. Like, well, we're chasing Merino. Zubimendi, he's done this to everybody. So this is him. I said this in the stream last week. I said Martin Zubimendi likes it in Spain. Simple, done. He doesn't want to leave, at least not yet. He might change his mind, but he's done this to everybody who's come for him. He did it to us over the last couple of seasons when we were chasing him. He's done it to Manchester United when they were linked to him. He's done it again now to Liverpool. That's his thing. So I don't think the Merino deal, yes, will add its own little piece where it's like they don't want to lose Merino and Zubimendi at the same time. But I think
what happened? He completely just dropped out. Talk to me, bro.
I'm not so.
He's back.
I don't know what happened,
bro. You just dropped out of nowhere.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, but I think the Zubimendi the Merino deal plays a very, very little part. Zubimendi does this. He's done this to everybody who's tried to get him. So yeah, look, hey, for me, it is good news that they're not getting Zubimendi. At least that they don't get strengthened any more than they already are right now. So that's good news for me. But yeah, Merino deal now. Let's just get it over let's get that deal through and let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving.
Big news right there, because Zubimendi rejecting Liverpool I definitely do think this has something to do with Mikel Merino. They don't want to lose their whole midfield or their 2 starting midfielders in the summer, going into a new season, literally just a couple of days away. So I do think it has more of a hand to do with us than anything else. But talk to me halfway. What are you saying? Besides the banter, what do you actually think about this situation?
Do you know what? Yeah, it's funny, yeah, because I think about an hour or so before this news came out, I saw a report saying that Edu's in Malaga. He's in Spain. So maybe he's over there sorting out the final parts of the Merino deal, and maybe that does play a part. But I similar to Dio, yeah. Like, look, Arsenal's tried to sign Zubimendi, Bayern Munich's tried to sign Zubimendi. Manchester United have spoken to Zubimendi, and each and every time he's gone, I like Spain. I like the mountains. I like my life in Spain. I just want to stay in Spain. So I just think that he found out that Liverpool is not the greatest place in the world to move to, and realized how good he had it in Spain. Maybe he's just loyal, and which I think is a good thing, having loyalty nowadays.
He's also getting offered a new contract that is the highest in the club.
But it's not higher than what Liverpool offered. So you can know that he's not a man about money. So yeah, I thought I didn't think he was going Liverpool. Like, for him to reject Arsenal the way he did, and the reason that he gave, I as a man that lives in England, that there ain't no way you're turning your nose at London and then ending up in Liverpool. So yeah, yeah, it's a happy day. I do think that he would have made Liverpool's squad very dangerous. So I am happy that he's not going there. Because he would have been perfect for slot ball. I can't even lie. Like, so that we all got saved there, boy, because that could have been very awkward conversations that we will be having as an Arsenal fan base. But yeah, it's not happening, and I guess now they got to go and find someone else, right? I know they've been linked to some guy called Alex Varela, but just a second choice FC in it. So yeah. Pretty much my
I'm just going to say this. Liverpool fans who were in my comment section replying to videos that I did back in January saying, hold that. At this moment in time, you guys kind of look silly. You kind of jumped the gun. You kind of got excited. We always told you Zubimendi to Liverpool didn't make sense, in my opinion, in the sense that, one, Real Sociedad selling Zubimendi and Mikel Merino in the same window really was I was always kind of like, does that really make sense for a club to do that also in their situation? Number two, they offered both of them ridiculous wages, and one player they specifically said they were always wanting to keep was Zubimendi. When people said to me, Man United is going to go for Zubimendi, I never thought it was going to happen. When people said Arsenal were going to go for Zubimendi and they had a pre-agreement in place and he spoke to the manager, I was like, maybe it could happen, but nothing formalized. We even heard of him potentially going to Real Madrid, and that even went cold. I personally think he's destined to end up at Real Madrid, and I think he's going to end up at Real Madrid in a year's time or something. He doesn't seem like he's in no rush to leave Real Sociedad. And Basque players, they are very loyal. They are extremely loyal to a fault. So I don't think I don't think Liverpool really could have done anything to change the player's mind. They offered more wages. They offered him an opportunity to join a Premier League club, and that's not his ambitions. His ambitions is, of course, one, to end up to stay in Spain, and two, potentially play for the biggest club in the world, Real Madrid. So that is what we reported. That's what was reported numerous times. It's not about money. It's about loyalty and potentially staying in his home country where he's comfortable.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing that when you tell people like it's not every player is lured by the blings and the the shine of the best league in the world and all of that. Some players are just like, look, I started in a very low neighborhood, like a poor third world country. My parents barely could put food on the table type thing. And then I make it to, Real Sociedad, where it's like, hey, not only are they paying me well, I'm living a very good, comfortable life here. And I'm loyal to this club that has done this much for me. Some people are like that. Some people have chosen that path. And I think he's one of them. You can see from the way he's rejected every club that has come for him. So yeah, I think it is what it is. It is what it is.
I thought it meant more. I thought it means more over there in Liverpool, man. I thought it means more to be,
it means more to the homegrown players. Don't
I
get
said,
me.
Hooks, do you remember when I said this? When I said, I don't know if if you heard me say, when I said, this guy says he likes the scenery, he likes the mountain, he likes he likes Spain. I don't know if you have mountain in Liverpool. Liverpool, do
Yeah.
you have mountain? If you have, please say it in the comments. What's the name of the mountain?
All right, guys,
Because there's no mountain for this guy to look
let's
at.
keep it real. It has nothing to do with Liverpool as a city. It has more to do with his comfortability and where he currently is. I don't think it has much to do with Liverpool, him rejecting Liverpool based on their location in the UK.
Have
I
you
don't
have you
think,
been to Liverpool, bro?
bro, I've never been to Liverpool, but I don't think he
Yeah.
went to Liverpool and scouted out the potential places where he could be staying.
He just needs to use Google Earth 3D to look at it, and then you know if you want to move there or not.
Yeah,
Come on,
Just use Google Earth 3D.
guys, let's just keep it real for a second. Do you really think he rejected Liverpool because he's like, I couldn't see myself living there?
one of the reasons, yeah, definitely one of the reasons, not the
Really?
main reason, but it's definitely
It may not be the main reason, but the guy has specifically rejected other offers, and he said things
He
like, "I
rejected
like."
London, bro. It's
Yeah,
not.
that's
It's
what I'm saying. I'm saying
nothing to
like
do
he's
with that.
rejected. But that's what I'm saying, Igal. If he's rejected one city as part of his reasons, there's no reason why this might not be another reason. As in one of the reasons, it might not be the main reason, but it might be one of like he might be like, okay, you know what? I'm loyal to my club. That's the major reason. I don't want to leave Real Sociedad. I am loyal to
Okay, if you
And then
take the banter side out, do you think seriously he when he was looking at reasons to not go to Liverpool, one of the first ones is lifestyle.
yeah, he himself has come out and said one of the big reasons why he stays where he is right now is because of the scenery. He actually likes the mountains. He actually likes the area. Like this is not me trolling Liverpool. This is what he has said himself. So yeah, again, it's not the
because
only reason. It's not the biggest factor, but
Igal, you have to remember that some things are important to certain people. What might be important to you as a fan looking at the place, say, why don't you want to come to the Premier League? Why don't you want to go to Liverpool? Why don't you want to go to Arsenal? That might be important to us as fans, but to some individuals, it might this may have been his dream all his life, and that's where he wants to cap it. He may be the most talented person in the world, but this may have been his dream. So it's the same way. It's the same way when people talk about Eden Hazard and say, oh, he stopped being serious and then he ended his career early. The guy probably felt like he had done everything he needed to do. But that was probably his dream. I'll play for a short while. I'll be the most amazing guy and I'll be out of there. People are different. So, benefit of the doubt here.
I just can't believe you. I just can't believe he actually rejected Liverpool. Yeah, actually, I'm not surprised he rejected Liverpool. I just can't believe you guys are saying he rejected Liverpool based on lifestyle. I think it's more with the fact that if it does have to do with lifestyle, it's probably because of the comfortability he has where he already is. Less about the fact that he's not comfortable in Liverpool. But yeah,
Lifestyle money just part of it. Yeah, just part of it. Not the
let's
entire
move
thing.
on. Let's move on to the next thing though. Let's see what people are saying. People are saying you're clearly trolling. People are just saying you're hating. Nah, Husam's killing me. Yeah, guys, A-listers was scrapped last minute because of this. As you guys already know, when news breaks, you gotta kind of shift gears. But before we go any further, people in the comment section, let me know. Do you guys think Arsenal is ready for the new season? Because with the Zubimendi news, what does that mean for Mikel Merino, guys? I think this deal for Mikel Merino is going to get done in a couple minutes or days by the end of the week or by the end of the week before the Premier League season starts. I expect the Merino news to be sorted. I expect him to be an Arsenal player, and I think Arsenal have signed. I think if Arsenal haven't already signed Mikel Merino, we should get it done ASAP because now Liverpool are going to be looking at Sociedad and they're going to say, "Hey, maybe we can have Merino."
Nah, they don't need a Merino, so I mean
Bro,
they're not gonna. But
Bro, have you seen their
but
midfield? They don't have no
I know
physicality in their midfield.
I know, but still, Marino. I mean, there's already an agreed deal with Arsenal, and I think the deal will be done. But I'm not panicking that the deal is not done, and I'll tell you why. The Arsenal team we have now, starting at the beginning of the season, is not a team that you would say cannot win games. It will be nice to have the players come in early so that they can blend. But I think where we're at, and I keep saying this, where Arsenal is at is just a couple of pieces of experienced players that can handle the moment, have the mentality, can take it to the last minute and win us games that we just need to bring in. Those two key areas with the right profile of players, I think the job will be done. I know we win we win the league this season if we fill those two areas properly. Now, I'm not afraid that we're not going to fill it, because I feel like we are good enough to start, and if they come, they're good enough to fit in. A couple more games and they can fit in. So it's about getting the right profile, and also market opportunities. Because if we had closed the Merino deal last week, let's just say there's another opportunity for somebody better than Merino come this week. What do we then do? Because you never know. So, for example,
I think at this moment in time, they're so sold on Merino that they're
yes,
gonna
yes, we are. But market opportunity was is also an option that could happen. I'm just saying. I'm just saying it's an option. Yeah. No, just saying, like, anything could fall through. Okay, look for example. Look at, for example, the deal with Olympic Marseille and Eddie Nketiah has fallen through, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so but it's clear Eddie wants to leave. He already agreed terms with Olympic Marseille, right? So it's clear that the player wants to leave. We can take him now and go to Brentford, who we have a good relationship with, where we got Raya from, where we did the deal with them and make them happy. I say, okay, give us Ivan Toney, take Eddie Nketiah, and here's a bit of an exchange of money, or give us Ivan Toney on loan for a season. You take Eddie on loan for a season with an obligation or option to buy. Like, that's another market opportunity. So opportunity.
That's a dream, bro.
I'm just saying the market. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Listen,
it may not happen. I'm saying there's options for deals like that.
I think you need to realize, bro, they've been working on the Mikel Merino deal for so long that Zubimendi rejecting the move to Liverpool basically helps his countryman and his teammate get the move that he wanted. Not only has Arsenal worked on getting the deal cheaper than they initially wanted to pay for it, Mikel Merino has rejected Atletico Madrid and Barcelona. We've agreed with the player personal terms, and we've also made him know that we want him. We're gonna get his deal done.
Yeah, we're gonna get him.
And 1 second, the main point is that we are not gonna we're not gonna fuck with somebody's life. This is somebody we've told. We reject Atletico Madrid, reject Barcelona. We want you. We're now not going to say, oh, now that Frankie de Jong's available, we're going to go get Frankie de Jong.
No, I'm not saying we abandon. I'm not saying we abandon the deal. What I'm saying is a market opportunity could arise, and it's a cheap deal. So
a market opportunity did arrive, and we looked at it, and we didn't even do anything about it. Which is
okay. So then we stick with
Fabian Ruiz.
Yeah,
but that's an option. Fabian Ruiz is a loan option with the obligation to buy. So
that's still an opportunity.
That they could still be talking about, because it's a loan option. So at the end of the day, it's not a lot of money.
I think they've worked on this deal for so long to get it down to such a cheap level that I think they view Mikel Merino as the midfield upgrade to like that left 8 position.
Yes, I agree. No, I agree with you.
I'm saying him as that position. So they're not going to now use all the scouting, everything they've done, and just go away from it. And also, think about how good we are aerially right now. Think about how good our team is already. Adding him and potentially more, because we're going to talk about what Edu had to say in a second. But did you guys see what Edu had to say? And big up everyone in the comment section. We have over 100-something plus of you guys watching, but how we only have 30 likes.
Okay,
guys,
so
please do hit that like button. It's free.
Hit the like button, people. Let me correct something. I am not saying we abandoned the Merino deal. I said a market opportunity could arise while we're still working on the deal to get it cheaper, and we can take all these opportunities. That there's no rush in going to pay the 25 from last week or 2 weeks ago. They were asking. Now we're down to 17.
What opportunity specifically?
No, I'm saying I don't. I can't see the future, but I'm saying if you're negotiating a deal to go down, options could come as a market opportunity. I would say, okay, I would still get Merino because it's cheaper now. Originally Merino was at what, 25-30? Is that not where we started from? As of 3-4 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, we're looking at 25 million euros, or is it 30 million euros? We're down to 17 now, million pounds. Right?
Allegedly.
No, I know, but I'm saying what is being reported. I can only go by what's been reported. I'm not working on the deal.
Because I saw reports correcting that and saying it's not 17 million, it's 19 million.
Okay,
and
bro, I personally don't think any of those people have the exact figures yet.
Yeah,
let's
exactly.
Let's keep it real. There's no guarantee they have the exact figures.
Yeah, but we can only go by what's been reported, though. We can't. I can't just make.
Some of the people reporting it are not actually journalists. Some of them are just Twitter accounts that have ITKs. Like the 17 million was reported by a well-known Arsenal fan on Twitter who does get sources information sometimes. Marble Halls, shout out Marble Halls. I used to follow him, but really and truly, he doesn't always get everything spot on. Sometimes it's information that he's giving us, but things can change, and he's not privy of everything that's happening. So I'll take it with a grain of salt. But what's been spoken about Mikel Merino, that deal should be done in the coming weeks, as that deal is going to be one of many. We're going to do this window. Now, before we go any further, please do hit the like button, guys. I want to make sure we get to at least 100 plus likes. That should be an easy target for all you guys in the comment section. We're only halfway there right now. But while you're here, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'm going to quickly just go through. I think there's some interesting topics that we need to discuss before we move on. People saying like Musiala, I don't think that's going to happen. Another potential option that could happen is maybe a Rodrigo. I don't think we're going to spend the type of money, and I don't think Rodrigo is going to get sold. Why would Real Madrid get rid of Rodrigo right now? Maybe they do it next summer. People saying all of them was arrogant. They deserve it. That's true. Liverpool fans were definitely very arrogant, and some people saying he stayed for loyalty over money. That's true. If he stayed for loyalty, you can't really hate on that. You can't really hate on that. Bro just rejected every English club. It's crazy. Yeah, he literally rejected Arsenal, he rejected Liverpool, and he rejected Man United. That's three of the top clubs in England. We really can banter Liverpool because of the fact that they were so thing. You had man singing Zubi Zubi do. Did you hear that?
Yeah. Zubi do. Yeah, all of it, man. Pass the Zubi on the left hand side. They were doing it all, bad. Don't worry. Zubi. Don't worry.
Let's go straight now into the Eddie Nketiah stuff, because this had people losing their mind, and I think we'll tie it back to Edu and what he said in a second. But the next thing that had everyone losing their mind, ladies and gentlemen, is the Eddie Nketiah situation. Now, I'm just going to say this. Calm down, people. Calm down. I know it looked bad. I did a video myself around 2:30 when the news broke. So if you didn't know, let me just break it down from the beginning to give you guys kind of an update on what took place today, because there was a lot. First of all, at 7 hours ago, we heard the news that Marseille and Lens have gone into the final negotiation for Eli Weah to get a transfer for the Lens forward. And if this does materialize, the Eddie Nketiah deal is on life support, and that won't happen, right? That is what we heard initially. Now, let me just break it down. So this was 7 hours ago, right? Then a couple of minutes afterwards, we got more details. Marseille have gotten their bid accepted for 25 million plus add-ons for Weah, and parties were confident that this is going to get done. Eddie Nketiah most likely won't end up there. Then it's officially done. An hour later, Fabrizio Romano basically is reporting the same news, but just giving us a little bit more information, saying that they did not want to match Eddie Nketiah's 30 million euros, which we offered. But the crazy thing is, they didn't want to match the 30 million euros, but they basically paid the exact same money, plus gave them a 15 million sell-on clause for Weah. Clearly, they value Weah as a better player than Eddie Nketiah. Now,
clearly, you have to realize that the player is played in France already. He's played in that league already. So to them, it's the same way we talk about proven players. It's like saying, how long will it take Eddie to hit the ground running for him when he comes here, and to kind of acclimatize. So if you have a French proven player that is already playing in the French league, and you'd be probably willing to spend that same amount of money on that person than on somebody who needs 2-3 months to acclimatize, get a place, get used to the food, get used to the lifestyle, start really like feeling like he's part of that league. You might not want that. So yeah, so it's fair enough. I totally understand why they would take this deal over Eddie's deal. Yeah.
So then this happened next. They got the official here you go. As you can see, things moved quick. In 2 hours, we heard about the transfer and being close to getting finalized, and then it was actually finalized a couple minutes later. So the update is not now done, but the next part to that update we're going to talk about in a second. But before we go any further, quickly, let's just talk about the whole Marseille situation and everything with that. Oh, by the way, you guys seen the Norton Coffee got transferred away also. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about Norton Coffee in a second. But before we go any further, let's just talk about the Eddie Nketiah stuff. Guys, Eddie Nketiah, are you losing your shit? Because we're going to talk about Bournemouth in a second. But immediately when you find out Eddie Nketiah is no longer getting transferred to Marseille, I'm just thinking to myself, surely there's transfers happening in the Premier League. Wolves just got rid of Pedro Neto. They have money. Bournemouth just got rid of Dominic Solanke. They have money. Brentford could potentially get rid of Ivan Toney. They will have money. There's many clubs, and these clubs have all shown interest in Eddie Nketiah in the past. So it's not the end of the world.
I wasn't worried at all.
There is going to be other people, but initially, I feel like we should have agreed and accepted the 27 million euros in the first
Thank
place.
you. Look,
I
don't want to talk about all these ifs, maybes, buts, or what about Bournemouth?
But who's that on?
Wolves are missing a striker, or Brentford may be losing Tony. These are all hypothetical ifs. These are dreams. This is copium. We had the opportunity to sell Eddie Nketiah for £24 million. The money was there. It was there. £24 million pure profit. And we think, oh no, we're not going to do it because Eddie Nketiah is a £30 million player. He is not a £30 million player. Why are we putting at risk our ability to upgrade our squad? Because we all know we're not going to go and upgrade the forward line if we don't get rid of Nketiah. Why would we risk it? What is this arrogance?
So here's the thing though. And it's for me, like I'm going to say it again. I wasn't really worried because I just thought, okay, it's another deal that has fallen through. The player has showed interest that he wants to leave because he had agreed terms with Marseille. The club has showed interest that they want to get rid of the player because they put an offer on the table. Fine, the deal fell through because we dragged our feet or because of 3 million or whatever the case is.
Arrogant.
Because whatever the reason the deal fell through, I don't care anymore because the deal has fallen through. So the reason doesn't matter to me anymore. The bottom line is
the reason is very important.
But the bottom line is both the club and the player want to part ways. They both want to. They've showed it. So for me, that's a good sign. It's a different sign if one of them was showing that, oh, we don't want to get rid of you. Now, here's the thing. Is Eddie worth what the club is saying? No. They've realized now that he's not worth that. And they realize that they're not going to get that value for him. So eventually they're going to have to settle for less. And so that's a lesson learned the hard way doing business. They're going to have to settle for less. But the player himself has showed that he wants to leave. He wants to play more minutes somewhere else, and he will take whatever offer comes his way right now. So at the end of the day, I'm not really worried because the good thing about it is there's many teams out there that even if they're not going to buy him right now, they can actually loan him out with an obligation to buy. Let him just leave the club so that there's space for somebody else to come in, so there's no excuse. Right?
Deo, let me ask you a simple question. Should Arsenal have accepted the 27 million?
Yes, they should have. That's what I'm saying. But the fact that you did not now in hindsight, what do you do about it? You should have.
That's 1 second. That's all we're asking, bro.
Oh, no, I agree. I agree.
We all agree with you that hindsight, we can't complain. We can't argue anymore. But looking back at it from the club's perspective, they should not be.
It's the club's fault, though. I put that on.
They should know.
I know. I put that on the club.
They should know. We've done this numerous times in the past. We've rejected 55 million for Hector Bellerin. We've rejected 20 million or 25 million for Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and for these guys to leave on freeze. We've rejected now 3 official bids for Eddie Nketiah, 2 from Marseille and 1 from Crystal Palace in the past. So it gets to a point where you have to say, you know what, you're not getting the value you want for certain players and just take the loss. Because player sales, if we would have got 27 million euros for Eddie Nketiah, nobody would have complained. I think people would have said that's a bargain.
But that's what I'm saying, Nigal. I put that on the club, though, because the problem I've had all this while,
lack of self-awareness.
No. The problem I've had all this while is people shitting on Eddie himself as though Eddie didn't want to leave.
It's not Eddie's fault.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't. I've not heard anybody literally shit on the club and say like, "Hey, look,
Arsenal, I agreed with the club rejecting
the first bid.
One second. I agreed with Edu rejecting the first bid, but the second bid was decent enough to accept.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was. But I mean, at the end of the day, like I said,
and when and then when they went back to the table, I expected them to be like, you know what? We kind of lost it. We should have maybe taken it. But then you know what Arsenal did? They doubled down. They went to David Ornstein and said, we're going to accept 30 million. Submit the bid. I've never seen a club say in the media, we will accept your next bid if it's this much money. Usually they say, oh, this is what we want. This is how much we're looking for. Arsenal went to the extent of saying, we will accept it. Just give us 5 million more euros. They're like, nah.
And now it's kind of put us in a weaker position because clubs know we want 30 million. Well, clubs know we will now accept 30 million euros, which means we can't get the original 30 million.
This reminds me of Kieran Gibbs. Do you guys remember what happened with Kieran Gibbs? We had a bid for 10 million from West Brom for Kieran Gibbs. We rejected the 10 million. Come the end of the window, we said, you know that 10 million you offered us? We'll take it now. You know what they said to us? Kick rock, 7 million or nothing. We're like, okay, we'll take it. You can't go to the grocery store with 50p and then try to get 55p candy. It's not gonna work.
I totally hear you, Igal. It's just the narrative behind it, even from Arsenal fans, is, you know, let's be realistic. If you know how a football club works on the inside, Edu does not set the prices on the players. Edu is not the one who says,
I'm not blaming Edu.
I'm not saying you're blaming. I'm not saying you're blaming Edu. But I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Like, the people that what we should be calling for, we're not really calling, because I've seen people on Twitter saying Edu is crap, Edu is this, yeah, he can't negotiate, and I'm like, Edu doesn't set the prices. The finance department sets the prices. Edu's job is to go and negotiate and make sure that he gets what the finance department wants. If finance says they're not going to accept it, there's nothing Edu can do. You can't sit there and just literally, like, you know. And so when I hear people shit on Eddie or shit on Edu, I'm just like, okay, well, I get it. I guess, you know. So
I feel like we're slightly disillusioned as a fan base and as a club when it comes to our valuations of our players. By the way,
yes, we are. And it's stupid.
Eddie Nketiah is not worth 50 million.
He's not.
Eddie Nketiah, 27 million is a reasonable bid. And as a football club who doesn't get good player sales, we should be able to accept that. If Arsenal was to get offered 150 million for William Saliba today, I would hope they would reject it, but they won't.
But here's what I'm saying, Igal.
I think if the club got offered ridiculous money for one of our best players, they would accept it. But
Igal, the market also determines the prices sometimes, and I'll explain what I mean by that to you. When you look at Samuel Moradion going for 40 million, and look at what he has done. When you look at Xerxes going for and you look at Højlund going for 65 million, the striker market, the value and the transfer market, the average median is at that 35 to 40 already, like the medium part of it, the medium average. Like, people are paying 60, 70 for strikers who scored 7 goals last season, 9 goals last season, who made, 14. What's the Aston Villa's striker name that Chelsea was looking at for 40 million? What's his name? The guy from Aston Villa that played 4 games last season, probably played about all of 45 minutes, the whole of last season. So at that point, as a club, you also have to try to capitalize in that market and be like, hey, listen, you can't be the one saying my striker is 10 million or 15 million. Come take him off my hand, because then everybody else is up here. That means that anytime you want to sell a player, they're going to come look down on you. We need to work on that as a club. Arsenal needs to be able to get to a point where we can start selling at the right value. But rejecting 27 million, I agree with you, was stupid. But that's in the past. What do they do going forward is what all I care
about. Maybe we need to look going forward. Positive news, guys. If Bournemouth want Eddie Nketiah now, Bournemouth, what price would you sell him to Bournemouth, knowing that they just got 65 million for their most recent situation? They just got 65 million from him. So with Bournemouth now, strong interest. So Bournemouth want Eddie Nketiah. Marseille wanted Eddie Nketiah, but did they really want him? Like, let's be honest. There's people you chase after in life, and then there's people who you will do anything to try to get on your team. So is Eddie Nketiah that guy? I don't think so. But at this moment in time, if he goes to Bournemouth and he's given the same opportunities as Dominic Solanke, I think he can get you 10 to 12 goals easy in the Premier League. No debate.
I think what I would do is the kind of deal I'll do with Eddie Nketiah, since Eddie Nketiah is an academy player before profit, just so that I can maximize on it. I'll tell Bournemouth, I'll say, here's Eddie Nketiah for 17 million. Listen to what I'm saying, people. Here's Eddie Nketiah for 17 million with a 25% sell-on clause, right, on his contract, where whenever you choose to sell him, right? Because at the end of the day, whatever they sell,
I don't think he's gonna get sold again for like ridiculous money. He's 25.
I know. It might not be ridiculous.
He might be 29 by the time he leaves Bournemouth.
But if they sell him at that stage for 10 million or 7 million euros, I'll get 25% of it. That's another 2 point something million. Or I'll do it at 18.5 or 19. At the price where I know that, listen, at the price where I know that I am not going to have to deal with the nonsense of them negotiating back and forth.
What are you doing?
Because you just said yourself, take 27. You didn't take it. You came back, and then you're going to take less. Now you want to start. One second.
You just go to them and you say, we rejected 27 million from Marseille, which was kind of a mistake. If you want to offer us close to that, we will consider it. That's where you start. You don't. What I'm saying,
if I need to offload him, I said I would do that 17 or 18 million with add-ons, and I'll put a 25.
Bro, 1 second. You're in America, right? You're in America, right? You've been to NFL games or NBA games?
Yeah, hold on. Calafiori deal. 50% buy-on clause from
bro, Eddie Nketiah is not 22. He's 25.
I agree with you, but what I'm saying is whatever that 50% is still extra money in the future, and it's still profit. Eddie Nketiah is an academy player, so you're looking at it financially.
Let me explain this though. I hear you and I get your points. Sell-on clause, but there is no point of having a sell-on clause on a player who, by the end of his first contract with the club, will potentially be 29.
If they turn down the 25 million,
bro, Eddie Nketiah in 2 years at Bournemouth will not increase his value enough.
If Bournemouth turns down the 25 million, what
Eddie Nketiah is not a future superstar, bro.
I don't care about the future. I'm asking a question. If Bournemouth turns down 25 million,
1 second.
Okay, no. If Bournemouth says no 25 million, I want it for 20.
Hear me out. There is no future money that you can make enough.
I have agreed with you, Igal.
He's not a defender. He's not a midfielder. He's a forward. His shelf life is smaller.
I have agreed with you on that point. I simply said, if Bournemouth turns around and says, I'm not giving you 25, I want him for 20, will you sell him?
I'll take it.
But, you said go in.
I will put 1 second. I will put goal bonuses. I on his
17. I said 17 plus add-ons.
Plus 20. No, you said plus 25%.
I would say
sell on clause again.
If we sell Eddie Nketiah, I would want 5 million in goal bonuses and guarantees to keep them up.
You know, it's funny how in one sentence you sit here and say how shit Eddie Nketiah is, but yet you want to put a value that clubs are going to reject on him.
I actually like Eddie Nketiah.
That's my point.
You were the one in the group that was vexed. Wait, you were the one that was saying that 27 million euros is not his valuation. We should be trying to go now you're talking about 17 million plus 25%. Bro, I beg, allow it. Whatever we can get for Eddie Nketiah,
what I said, what I said in the group chat, which you have chosen to conveniently ignore because they're screenshots and I can pull them up and share it now. What I said is what the club values him at, not what I value him at. I don't value Eddie Nketiah, which is why I said if I were handling the deal, I just told you what I would do. There's a big difference between what I would do and what the club values him at. Now, the club thinks he's a 30 million player. I think they're pissing themselves. They're joking. I would go in there and do a deal where it's easy to offload him. He's full profit, and I'll make whatever else in the future I get off him. If it's 2-3 million in the future, I'll take it. It's an additional to the 17 plus the add-ons. I'll make it. It will become to 22, 23 over time. But I'll know that Eddie is out the door, and that deal is done, and I've moved on. But here you are.
How about this? On 25, can we agree on this? Can we agree on this? The minimum floor we would accept is maybe the 17-20 million that you're talking about. But I would start the negotiations at the previous bid that we got and then work our way down instead of starting from such a low price.
Okay,
and
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
If I'm trying to sell something on any website, I'm putting I'm not putting free and then saying negotiate price. I'm saying this is my price, but negotiable.
Arsenal fans, Eddie is shit. Eddie is not a striker. Eddie has played 119 games and scored 14 goals. Eddie is so crap. Eddie is so this. We've put that out there so much that you're expecting a club to come and value him at the price that we think he's at 30
You
million.
wanna know something? You wanna know something?
No.
We rate the players we rate. Kieran Tierney, nobody fucking wants it.
But listen, we sent him on loan. We rated him when he first came to Arsenal. Anyway, I don't want to talk about Kieran Tierney's case because it's a
But
different.
you get what
dynamic.
I'm saying?
I know, but that's a different dynamic.
It's about you having to be a good fit.
The fan base, including myself, listen, the fan base, including myself, I don't rate Eddie like that. But the point is, we've already shot on him to make him look like a bad player as a club in general. So when we are going to negotiate and say, oh, let's start at 30 again, we're taking a big risk, just like we took in Marseille again, to start that same negotiation. If that negotiation falls through, the fans are going to pull their hair out and scream, you couldn't get rid of Eddie. If you really want to get rid of something and you want to act like a big club, you take a loss sometimes, you get rid of him, you bring in the striker you want, you win, and you move on. That's what big clubs do.
Before we move on, Matt, do you have anything to add to this Eddie conversation? Because I just want to move on to what Edu said, and are we ready for the Premier League?
You're muted, bro.
Matt, you're mute.
Matt, you're on mute. Your mic is not on. All right, let him sort out his mic. People in the comment section are telling me how much they would sell Eddie Nketiah for. Personally, I'm not starting the negotiations at a low point. I'm going to work my way down from a higher point. We originally started working our way down from 50. Now that we've had a bid rejected, just tell Bournemouth, if you give us anywhere near the bid that we recently had rejected, that is where we're starting the negotiations. And if they say that's too expensive, well, we ask them, how much do you think he's worth? If they say 23 million, we take it. Cool.
All right, we see.
No, your mic's
that's how I want to do my business. Because if I used to go to a lot of Arsenal. I used to go to a lot of Raptors games as a youngster. I would show up there with money in my pocket. I would go up to the ticket guy and I'd be like, how much is your ticket? You know what he'd tell me? He's telling me my ticket's $250. I'll say, bro, that's too expensive. I can't do that. He say to me, what do you want? I said, bro, I know you have some cheap tickets that you got for $30. Give them to me for 60. That's double you make double the money. Off a ticket that you wanted to sell for £200 because LeBron James is in the building. You know what he said to me? He said to me, come back to me 2 minutes before the game starts and I'll sell it to you. Guess what? We're going to come back at the end of the transfer window and somebody's going to want to buy that player for cheap because they know we're going to be able to sell him for cheap. And that's what I did. I showed up 2-3 minutes before the game started and I got to witness LeBron James' 65-point game in Toronto. Simple. And I paid double the price of a $30 ticket, but it's still cheaper than $250 he was originally asking me to pay. So when you negotiate, you need to find a goddamn way. And in real life, it's not like football, but there's always a way to negotiate. And I just think Arsenal are terrible.
I hear you. We're a terrible club at negotiating. We all know this. So my point is, there's two things I'm factoring in here. One is the stage Arsenal is at as a club. Are we going to let 5 million be the difference between winning the league, or 10 million be the difference between winning the league, going far in the Champions League, because we still retain Eddie and then we don't buy a striker, or we cut our losses knowing fully well that, yes, we are terrible at this, we'll fix it in the future, and we can just bring in someone who can get the job done, and we go on to focus on one aspect first. Because what we're doing is we're dilly-dallying like a seesaw. We're like, yeah, well, we got to get the right price for him. And if we don't get the right price, but we know he's not good enough. And if we mess around too long, the window is going to close and Eddie's still going to be here. And the next thing you're going to hear is we could not bring in a striker. And the same fans who were screaming that, why did you say 17 million is so low, are the same ones who are going to start pulling out their hair and saying you should have sold him for 2.5 million. That's my point. My point is there's a stage you get to.
I think if we made Eddie
there's a stage you get to when you just cut your losses.
If we made Eddie Nketiah's price that low, we would start a bidding war.
That's another sensible way to do it. Make it 15 million and you get 2-3 clubs coming. Oh, I'll pay you 16. I'll pay you 17. I'll pay you 18. I'll pay you 20. Okay, give me 20. Here you go. Boom. Add-ons. Get out of here. Boom. That's another way to do it. But my point is, I don't want a situation where
Eddie Nketiah on eBay.
Straight away. Put him on. I don't care. Put him on eBay.
Matt, you sorted out your mic? No,
man.
We still can't hear you, bro.
Check, Mike. I said,
Yeah,
I was going to tell him to check
maybe his mic wasn't
exit
set
on
up.
good side.
Anyways, thank you to the channel member just joined us, Matt Potts in the building. Is that how you spell it? Potts?
Pretty
I
sure
think
it's
that's
Poots.
Poots. It's double
Big up
OT.
Matt Potts in the building for
Can you hear
joining
me
us.
now?
And also, people do
Yes,
please
we
do
can hear
hit
you
that
now.
like button.
Perfect. I don't know what happened there. But look, the club value Nketiah at around £35 million. I value him at around £30 million because he's homegrown. He can score in the Premier League. Obviously not like a vast amount of goals, but he can score in the Premier League. He's pretty much near his peak years. He's not a bad striker. He's just not as clinical as most strikers.
How much is he worth, bro?
Huh?
How much is he worth?
In my opinion, £30 million. And the fact that we
30
got
million.
Yeah, £30 million.
Pounds. You do realize that's 35 million euros.
Offered 26 million euros or 27 million euros. But that's about 7 million off of what we want.
That's still a lot, bro.
I see. Look, here's what I'm saying. I understand how we can say we value him at that, and I'm not trying to disrespect the player, but I'm saying vis-a-vis where Arsenal is right now. We were one game away from winning the league last season. One game, people, one, and we're here trying to haggle 5-10 million, some million from other clubs to get rid of Eddie Nketiah, who's not going to get us over the line. I don't see how I don't see how that makes any sense to me. It's like
would you accept a lower offer?
One second,
I would take. Listen, let me explain to you.
Between the two of you, I think the crazy thing is 30 million is closer to the valuation that we got rejected, but I would still agree with Deo on this one. If I had to pick between which one of you would get the player sold, I think Deo would be easier to get the player sold because we just want him sold. So in that case, would you then say Reece Nelson's only worth like 10 million?
No. So everybody's market value is not based on because Eddie is this and Reece. No. It's also dependent on the club that is coming to buy him and what they really need him for. Yeah. So if you're looking at a club that doesn't have an out-and-out winger, and Reece Nelson is probably one of the only Premier League proven players on the market at the time, you can kind of play games with that. Eddie's not the only striker in the market.
Nothing to do with this. What is Vamos talking about? Come on, bro.
Vamos smokes nitrous oxide like Bissouma. So that's why
he just smokes Champions League titles every 2 years, bro.
Yeah, he smokes nitrous. He smokes nitrous oxide.
Million. One second, everyone in the comment section, how much is Reece Nelson worth? I personally think 15 is the max you can get for Reece Nelson. Somebody here with the super chat, 30 million pounds. 1 second, 30 million pounds is realistic for Premier League market. I don't ask the same as Marseille. Don't ask the same as Marseille. Starting at 17 million doesn't make sense. Disrespect on Eddie Nketiah is great.
This is not about disrespect. Sorry, Sadiq, thank you for the super chat. We really appreciate it. It's not about disrespect. I'm just speaking based on one thing and one thing only. Vis-a-vis where Arsenal is at. We were one game away last season from actually winning the league. We were one striker short of scoring at the Allianz Arena, and we brought Eddie Nketiah on last season to go to the semi-finals of the Champions League. Like literally, I'm saying vis-a-vis where we are right now for this season, I don't really care. Move like a big club and get rid of them for whatever price. At this point, I don't care, but bring in the right people. If you're going to haggle over 5 million or 7 million or 10 million at the valuation, and you keep Eddie and you don't cross the line next season, don't come around blaming anybody else but yourself. That's all I'm saying. So I hear you on the market value of what Eddie is. And yes, you can say Eddie's worth 30 million, whatever the case is. But if at this point, nobody wants to pay that and you know he's not good enough, then I was on the same page with you. People blaming Eddie. I told them, you can't blame the guy. The guy wants to leave the club. He showed that he wants to leave the club, right? The club is the one who's dilly-dallying around. I'm blaming Arsenal for not just doing business and just taking full profit and just letting this guy go.
Hey, I mean, our supporters blaming Eddie is crazy.
It is stupid. It's ridiculous to me. Like, Eddie has agreed personal terms in Marseille. That means he wants to leave.
He had to drop off.
The guy wanted to leave. And so for people to turn around and say, well, oh yeah, Eddie's such. And I'm like, why are you shitting on Eddie? He already wants to leave. The club is the one not doing his due diligence properly. So, hey. So I blame the club, man.
Look, you go, right? So say if we sold Eddie Nketiah for 30 million, right? We've already sold Smith Rowe for 35 or 34, right?
That would have been 60 million.
I would then be, sort of open to then sell Reece Nelson or just accept offers a bit lower, like
Bro,
13
I would
million,
accept
12 million,
I
or
would
something like
accept
that, just to get them all out.
I would accept a loan with a 10 million obligation
Yeah.
and 5 million add-ons.
But
I think that's
only
reasonable.
if we
How
sell
much did
Nketiah
we
for a
sell?
decent
How much did we get for both Lukonga and Tavares? I know one of them was on loan, or is it both of them on loan?
Lokonga, I think we got like
7 million. One was 7 million,
7
and
million.
one
The
was
other one we
price?
got
It's about
5.
12 million for Tavares.
so
12
both
million.
Yeah, or I mean, it's
Euros.
one of them.
What? Listen, guys, we're spending too much time on Eddie Nketiah. We got half an hour left. Let's spend the last half hour asking, is Arsenal ready for the Premier League, ladies and gentlemen? That is the title of the video. That is the main topic of the discussion. We do have people in the comment section giving us their take on if Arsenal is ready for the Premier League, and we've had 171 votes. I love it, but we've only had 51 likes on the video. How is that possible? Guys, do me a favor. Please. Oh, we actually had 89 likes, so I'm underselling you guys. Please do like the video, guys. The ratio to people voting and people liking the video is crazy. Literally double the amount of people who like the video have voted. So if you guys can like the video, it is free. It helps out the channel massively, and this incentivizes everyone to now watch the video and to give, of course, the channel more love and support. So please do that. You're helping me more than you think by just pressing that thumbs up on the video. Now, is Arsenal ready for the Premier League? How many people in the chat do you think, what percentage of the chat do you think said yes or no? Do you think a larger said yes or no? Because that will tell me what you think also. Don't look at the chat. Deo, what do you think? Do you think the chat said yes or no?
I don't know since I'm not looking, I don't know what they'd say. There's mostly haters in the chat, like Vamos, who are going to say no. So yeah, I think most of them will say no because that's what they come here to do.
All right. What about you, Matt? What are you saying? Most of the people in the chat, you think they're saying yes or no that Arsenal's ready for the Premier League campaign?
I mean, the chat look like they're saying a mixed of no, really. Mostly no.
176 people voted. 65% said yes, Arsenal's ready for the Premier League. Now, do you agree with the viewers that Arsenal is ready?
I think we're ready. I think we're ready. And like I said, I think the team right now is ready. The team we have right now is ready to start playing and winning games, but there's a few pieces that are missing. And those few pieces, and I'll tell you what is missing. I think we need a striker.
Okay.
And we need a striker with Kai Havertz because I want to move Gabriel Jesus to the right with Bukayo Saka. So on my right wing, I would have Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Jesus and not Nelson. On my left wing, I would have Martinelli and Leandro Trossard. And whatever striker I bring, be it Ivan Toney, be it Gyökeres, be it whoever, right? It's going to be that person, and then it will be Kai Havertz. In my midfield, I want to bring in Merino. If I have Merino, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, Thomas Partey, Jorginho. And then I will move, what's his name? What's his head? From left back to midfield and left back. I'll shuttle with him there in and out if need be. But my defense seems a little more sure now because I've, strengthened where I was strong before, which is I now have Timber coming back. That's like a new signing. I have Calafiori. That's another new signing in defense. I still have Saliba and Gabriel, and I have Tomiyasu, and I have White, Benny Blanco. Raya still in goal. And right now it looks like Ramsdale is staying with the way things are looking, unless somebody comes for him before the end of the window. So I still have two goalkeepers that I relatively, can push each other to become better. And I think that team is ready to go and challenge because you need a substitution and you don't want to be bringing on the Eddie Nketiah. You need a substitution with the Gyökeres not scoring. You want to bring on a different profile of striker. You want to drop a Gabriel Jesus in there who can cause chaos and anarchy and probably ask Gyökeres to move out to the right and or whatever. You can tweak and twine with your players when you have players that have ability to do multiple things. So yeah, we saw it with Calafiori in his debut game. He started from left back, and the minute we swapped out Saliba with Kirill, and we took out Gabriel and brought in what's his name, Mars Lewis Kelly, he moved into center back, and he looked just as comfortable in left back, and that's what you want to be able to achieve with in-game management. Yeah, so yeah, I think we're ready.
What are you saying, Matt? Are you ready for the? Do you think Arsenal is ready for the Premier League to start?
Look, I mean, I'd be lying to say that we could definitely improve because we could. We could buy a striker and we could buy a winger two, positions where I think we do need to strengthen. I think in midfield, Mikel Merino will eventually come in. Whether that will be before the game this weekend, probably not. Just afterwards, maybe. But I do think he will come in. I did actually go to the game yesterday, as I was quite lucky to. And we just looked really, really good in the first 20 minutes. The first 20 minutes, we were very, very top. We pressed them so hard. They barely got into our box, let alone a half. And, beyond that first half, I mean, it was a bit of a mix, really, because obviously we brought on youngsters and players like that. But in short, I do think we're ready for the league. But we could be better prepared, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
All I have to say is Zubi doo, where are you? To the Liverpool fans crying. Anyways, honestly, I love my subscribers. Big up to everybody. I think we are not ready yet, in the sense that we are ready to play against Wolves. We're ready to play against Man City. But for the whole entire campaign to be the success that we need it to be, we still need a little bit more. I would need Mikel Merino to come through, and I would potentially need Eddie Nketiah and Nelson to be sold so we can get in another attacker. I think if we bring in minimum 2 or 3 more players, that would be, obviously it's not going to be the perfect window unless we bring in everything that we need, but it would be as close to possible as a 10-10 window. If we get Moreno, Calafiori, Victor Gyökeres, or Moreno, Calafiori, Eze, something like that, that is a good window. But if we bring in 3 players, 2 attackers, which is, I don't think it's possible. If we can get 2 attackers, maybe a Kingsley Coman and a Victor Gyökeres, one on loan, one on permanent contract, plus Moreno, that could be a 10-10 window. But would it happen? We know we are never going to get everything we need. We don't always go and address every single area, unfortunately. But at the same time, maybe the club have different targets and different transfer targets than the fans themselves. Because
can I also say this, Igor, like, when you're at the position that Arsenal is in right now, which is a very, very, for me, it's just a very annoying position to be.
Position from strength, yeah.
Yeah, like a position where it's like, oh, they're like, you're such a good team, you should just go ahead and win. Then that means whoever you're signing has to just be the right people. You can't just say, oh, because Ivan Toney scores goals, let's just bring Ivan Toney in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just be that team. Like, the teams that need players like that are the teams that are building solidly. If you are at the point where you're 1 game short of winning the league, you're 2 points away from Manchester City. And I've heard people say how there's this mad gap between Arsenal and Man City. And I'm like, I don't believe it. I don't buy into it. It's all a load of talking points. It's a rhetoric that doesn't exist. Because the truth is, they didn't win more games than we did last season. The only difference is that they drew slightly more than we did. We lost 2 more than they did, and that's why we lost the league. And it's in those kind of games where you need a lot of depth, where you need a different profile of player, where it's a case of you just have to take it to the wire. You either win that game or you don't lose the game. If we drew the Aston Villa game and drew another 1 game against Fulham, against the West Ham, we tied them on points, and it would have gone down to goals difference. And those kind of games really matter. So this is why I said depth is, for me, it's more about the depth and the profile of the players we're bringing in than anything else. So if we can get the right fit, Merino is good in the left central midfield, great stuff. Which means that Declan can also play there and play as a 6, which means that Partey can play there, Declan can play as an LCM. The only person I think we don't have a sufficient cover for is Martin Odegaard, because Gabriel Jesus can cover Bukayo Saka conveniently. We bring in a striker.
Bro, the cover for Martin Odegaard is basically Havertz and Fabio Vieira.
Yes, I know, but I'm saying, like, I would rather have Havertz stay up front with, not as my main striker, but with, like, Gyökeres with my main striker, but Havertz will also be a center forward for me. Okay,
you know what? Let's play a game. Everyone in the comment section, link us to players, and we're going to tell you what we think. Madueke. I'm just going to say this. What would he bring to our team? He has no end product.
He probably does better than Reece Nelson in that he takes on his man, but that's it. He has he doesn't do anything beyond that. He just shoots the ball into Rose Ed.
because you have to remember, like I keep telling people, where Arsenal is at, Arteta cannot afford to bring in players that he needs to begin to tweak. These are players that he's like, this is how I want you to play, and they just step into it
Ivan
and start playing.
Toney.
You know, the only reason I will not touch Ivan Toney with the 10-foot pole, in as much as we might, not just character, ask yourself this question: why has every top team that needs a striker not gone for him?
Maybe
It's
they
not
hold back
about
on
like
that.
I don't like
deeper.
There's something deeper than like I cannot wrap my head around the fact that
he's a little pricker. Maybe, who knows?
like that.
Bro,
Yeah,
I think
can't
it's
wrap my head.
attitude or something.
And they've
I
been
don't know.
reducing his price.
All I
Like,
know
the
is
price-
I would take
so-
Ivan Toney, but I'm just looking at it from a football perspective. I'm not looking at it from a personnel perspective. Next, Ferran Torres.
No. Oh,
I don't know.
Man City, the reason why he fell out with them because he didn't want to do the hard work off the ball.
yeah.
So
I don't want him.
do we want somebody in the team that is not going to do the work and is going to be a little bit of a passenger in defense?
If he doesn't want to do the work, on the hard work, then no.
Then there's
this
no
ain't
point.
the club for you, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way Arsenal plays, I don't think like Ferran Torres would.
Mudryk.
I don't want to see this Mudryk link again. I don't understand why people keep bringing it up. If this was last season or the season before, and they had done that to us, and yeah, I would still say maybe yes. But where we're at right now, we don't have an excuse this season. We just have to get the right people in, the right profile. These guys don't fit it.
The next guy, does he even exist? Is this guy a hologram? Chiesa.
Chiesa, I think. Where does he play again? He plays in Italy, right?
Juventus.
Yeah, in Juventus in Italy. Yeah,
that club is still relevant. Are they relevant?
Yeah, but his injuries though. Chiesa, I think I've seen he's got quite
he played
a bit
33 games last year.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it would definitely look. Let me tell you this, and I know it sounds crazy. It's not going to happen, people. I know it's not going to happen, but I'm saying, if in an alternate world I had to choose, I would literally get rid of Eddie Nketiah for whatever amount, give Nelson to whoever wants Nelson for whatever amount. Guys, I love you, but you gotta leave, right? I take all that money, take my full profit that I have left, right? Merino deal is done. I will take 130 million and I'll walk into Newcastle and I will slap Isak on the table and say, here's 130 million. Give me Isak, and I'll tell Isak, you will be the highest paid striker in Arsenal. Come for this season alone. Everybody will.
The second best striker in the Premier League.
I will increase everybody's salary next year once we win the league. You guys, I have brought you all the rest of the tools. I brought you that's what I would do. I would literally.
You do realize
I would be on the brink of I would be on the brink of
FFP. The moment you bring in Isak, you're basically telling Havertz and Jesus they are auxiliary pieces. You're gonna that doesn't in the wing.
No, because Kai Havertz you
can't
versatile player.
No, because I think Isak, if you put that kind of money out there, bro, he's the main striker. He starts.
Of course, but that's the point. You can't listen,
striker,
but you have to realize, like, regardless of how much I put on you, right? We shoehorn players into positions, and that thing is annoying. Right, but we become the people who say because they bought you for 85 million,
they must play week in, week out. Slap 130 million on Isak, but he wants to use conversation for Eddie Nketiah at 17. I love
no. Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, I don't care at this point. We're one game away from winning the league. People, is 130 million worth winning that league in 21 years? Yes, it is to me. Is 130 million worth me going to the finals of the Champions League again this season, making it to final? Yes, it is to me.
Yes.
Is it worth me taking the risk?
Bro, Isak completes your team.
Yes, it is.
Isak completes
I will do it. I will do it.
Bro, how about this? 100 million, give you Eddie and Ramsdale for free. Take them too.
Hey, here you go. No. Ramsdale, I love you. Here you
maybe
go.
I'm going too far. 80 million plus Eddie Nketiah and Martinelli. Sorry, 80 million Eddie Nketiah and Ramsdale, I mean. But yeah, let's continue. Let's continue. Gyökeres. Is anybody convinced by Gyökeres? Because I'm not convinced by Victor Osimhen. But Gyökeres, 77 million, might do it.
I just wouldn't mind anymore.
I like Gyökeres. I've seen I've watched a few of his. I've watched about 5 games matches.
Bro, I'm a flip flop with Gyökeres.
No, and I think that he has a lot that he can contribute in assists and goals as well, and in hold up play, and he links up very well. So and he's a big fella. He's 6'2", That's another way we can send the ball over. Gabby Jesus is not the tallest to be heading. Neither is Bukayo Saka.
We need somebody holding that thing.
We would have different varieties of playing. That's what I care about now. We can't in the games where
is his hold up play good? Because I know he's fast. Is his hold up play good?
It's not too bad. His hold up play is good.
Adingra is not happening, guys. It don't make sense. We let Drewsbury go to Brighton and then we go sign Adingra. Why not just keep Drewsbury? Right?
Because Koji Dewberry wanted to leave.
No, but Adingra is like basically signing back.
Offered him a contract though.
I personally think signing Adingra, he's not an ambitious signing. He has potential, but I think this doesn't make sense. Why would we go and sign Adingra for potentially 12 to 20 million when we had Drewsbury in the house and we couldn't convince him to stay? Adingra, what minutes is he gonna play?
I mean, the honest truth is, any player that doesn't move the needle, I don't even address. At this stage, the question is, Lookman doesn't move the needle for me. He's an amazing player, but he doesn't get me over the line. He doesn't. He doesn't get me over the line. Osimhen,
I'll take.
That's a big risk. I'll take Osimhen.
I think he's going to flop.
No. Victor Osimhen is a player. My thing is,
I think he has Chelsea written all over him, and he's going to go to Chelsea and he's going to flop massively. Cole Palmer's going to take his penalties. He's going to argue with him. It's going to be a fist fight on the pitch.
No. Victor Osimhen doesn't behave like that. He doesn't have that.
I know. I'm just joking, but it's going to be funny. Evan Ferguson, the fall off from this guy being linked to Arsenal for 120 million to now not even starting every game at Brighton. Hilarious.
I'm so glad that link has gone dead completely, because
he was never good enough.
He has had one of the most dramatic fall-offs I've ever seen from a guy that was really, really hard.
Bro, they only rated him because he's Irish, bro. This guy, because he's Irish and he was getting highly rated from Irish.
He was doing really well in the Premier League.
Guys, he's 18.
I am sick and tired of kindergartners. We don't need no more kindergartners. We need
grown men. 18. You guys cut the boy some slack, man.
Bro, we need grown men, bro. We don't need kindergarten FC. Leave that for Chelsea.
Bro, if you're old enough, you're good enough.
Let Brighton, West Ham, and Fulham and these teams develop players, and then we'll poach them when they're ready.
I
don't want any player who's on the cusp, unless it's really affordable, like 65, 60 million. That makes sense. But 100 something for an 18-year-old striker to come to Arsenal for 120 million, it don't make sense, bro. That costs too much money. For that kind of money, we should be going for
19. Oh, he's 19, going to be 20 in October. I didn't realize that. I know he's
turning 20. They want 120 mil. They want 120 mil, bro.
I never, Rodney Francis. I never said we should get Evan Ferguson. I just said he's 18 and we don't need him. You're smoking weed and not listening, Rodney. That's the problem.
Kulusevski, did Kulusevski's deal to Tottenham get finalized officially yet?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Finalized last summer, I swear.
I have no idea.
Do you guys know Spurs have spent more money in the last 2 transfer windows than Arteta did in his first 4?
But all the Spurs fans tell me, Daniel Levy, he's such a wrong and he doesn't spend. He's the reason why our club fails. Get him out. And it's like, you show them that, and then it's like, what do they say?
Bro, when I show you this, you're going to actually be shocked. Look at this. They spent, for next summer, they already spent 13 million euros.
What?
This summer, for next summer, they already signed somebody from Croatia.
Oh, yeah, because he turns 18. And
Then they've spent 190 million pounds. Guys, 190 million euros. Last year, look how much money they spent. They spent 270 million euros. Ange Postecoglou, in his first 2 seasons, has spent 390 million euros.
That's almost 400.
It's justified, though,
that's almost 400 million.
Like,
bro,
why would you give Mikel Arteta that much money? If he's a rookie?
That is 400 million euros. People talk about Arsenal's transfers. Did you realize Tottenham spent this much money and they are nowhere near anything?
But I don't think that's going to matter, because I think Ange will get sacked. this season, I think he'll get sacked because he's so naive about his defending, especially on set pieces, by the way, because I watched a few of them in pre-season and they look terrible at set pieces still. And you'd have thought that last season would have taught him a lesson.
Yeah, it's a
like, bro, against Bayern, they
but pre-season, you know, they weren't playing their first team, and that's why.
By the way,
and that's why.
Yes,
I know, but
I'm not happy. I'm not happy with Arsenal's transfer window at this moment in time. But one thing we can say, finally, we get some decent money in return for a player.
Oh yeah, I like that.
For a decent price. Like we got Balogun 30 million last year too. On the low ski, we're kind of improving in player sales. On the low, we also got 29 million euros for Joe Willock. Is it the market is improving, or are we actually getting a little bit better at selling players? Because
we're still selling. We are still selling.
You sold
on the low end
for 30 million. What the hell?
Yeah, we did. We still sell on the low end. We sell on the low end of what the market is saying. But I mean, so far, Arsenal just needs to get better people.
On the low ski, this window, we sold Oxlade-Chamberlain, we sold Giroud, but then we spent a madness on Aubameyang.
Yeah, let's go up to the most recent season. Let's go.
Let's just work our way back. So this window, we still have a lot of work to do. Mikel MERINO coming in.
We've done 76.
Can I just quickly ask, right? Is Marquinhos is like is he still an Arsenal player?
It's a loan.
Yeah, it's a loan. He's still an Arsenal player. He's on loan.
I've not seen him with the Arsenal squad. I've not seen him with the under 21 squad. I've not seen him anywhere.
He was on loan.
He's loaned out. By the way, Declan Rice, Havertz, Timber, Raya on loan. We spent about 235 last million. 23-24 not bad. How come we didn't get any loan fees for these players? We'll find out. This window,
they left on a free.
This window, we spent a lot of money. But you know the sad thing about
the reason you're not seeing the loan fee is the loan has ended. The season's ended, so it says end of loan. But if you check
the majority of these fees that we spent on these players back in 2023-2022 season, we already want out of the club. For example, Marquinhos, Turner already want them out. Jorginho is probably going to be leaving after this year. KVR, we could make a profit off him if we try to sell him right now.
Can you guys believe we made a profit on Matt Turner?
Yeah, we made a good profit on Matt Turner. Because he played for the USA in the Olympics and he did, in the World Cup, and he did really good. Trossard, 24 million. We're not selling him, but Zinchenko, we are not going to get the 35 million euros we paid for him just 2 years ago. I want him sold already. Fabio Vieira, I want him sold already. Gabriel Jesus, I would sell him right now. This window, let's be honest.
I think that's going to look. See, here's what I'm going to say again. This is how I don't know how we evaluate things, but if the team that was 2 points away from City, with the greatest manager Pep Guardiola, right? You still have that core team, and then you want to dismantle it instead of adding the right pieces to it. You're basically about to shake up the foundation of everything we've built. We're talking one game away from winning the league. I don't understand how people are gonna. You can get rid of the weakest ones, right? And say, okay, like, oh, let me see the Eddie Nketiah. I didn't play them. Emil Smith-Rowe has not scored for us in 2 years. He's been on the bench. Coach don't trust him. Coach don't use him. Keep that guy out, right? Fine. If you get rid of those kind of people, even if you get rid of Fabio Vieira, I don't mind, because you're like, look, I've not used you in 2 seasons. It's a loss, but at this point where we're 1 game away from winning the league, we've got to make sure that all the right profiles are in and we just go for it one time. It will justify all the losses that we caught. It will justify all the money that we spent.
Can I also just add on Fabio Vieira? I personally think that this guy needs to be next, just out, because he physically,
because
he isn't ready for the Premier League, and he's been here for 2 seasons, and even when 17, he's already looked physically better.
Because we sold Emil Smith-Rowe, Fabio Vieira is probably going to be the one that's going to have to.
Yeah, no, I get that, but for next season.
Oh yeah, going back to 2021-2022 season, I thought this transfer window was a good success. If
that
I'm
was
like a
9 out of 10, but obviously
no, it wasn't a 9 out of 10 because
Lokonga
and Tavares, those two.
Oh yeah,
Austin Trusty, Nuno Tavares.
We made good profit.
It was a 7 out of 10 for me.
Tomiyasu, I would be happy with. Ramsdale, we paid 20 million euros, 28 million euros. Bro, the overreaction for when we paid the money we paid for Ramsdale and Ben White was ridiculous.
The
People
reaction
now-
on Ben White was absolutely disgusting at the time. I couldn't believe it. Everyone
Because
was
Bro,
saying
man,
this was the worst deal ever.
Aaron Ramsdale and Ben White both got verbally attacked.
Yeah.
English players just get criticized to a next level.
Ben White from Brighton. Brighton knows how to sell players. That's the thing. Brighton
Yeah,
are
that's true, that is
literally
true.
so,
and we sold Joe Willock.
regardless.
We sold Joe Willock, and then we bought Odegaard for friggin' 6 million more. Like that is a
good business.
good window.
Very good business.
I remember people were crying. We should keep Joe Willock. Look, if there's a lesson to be learned from Arsenal sales, Joe Willock, we sold him at the right time. Arsenal fans were complaining.
Yeah.
Matteo Guendouzi, we sold him at the right time. Arsenal fans were saying, "Oh my God, we let Matteo Guendouzi go for 11 million." Shut up. Balogun, Eagle, you're a hater. You hate Balogun. You think Eddie's better than him. Balogun went to Monaco. He didn't do shit. Granit Xhaka was a mistake. Getting rid of Granit Xhaka. I wish we could have kept him, but
It wasn't.
I think it came down to the player.
It wasn't a mistake. He wanted to leave.
That's the
He
point. It
wanted to
wasn't a
leave.
mistake. And we had and Arteta had actually agreed, and he and Arteta had agreed because he was going to leave the season before.
People
Yeah.
are going to be upset, but
So-
Emil Smith-Rowe, every time he scores a goal for Fulham, and Fabio Vieira has a stinker, people are going to compare the two. They're going to forever be compared.
Fulham's going to be my second team, right? Because Smith Rowe's in it. Like you got Alex Iwobi, you got Smith Rowe. It's going to be my second team. So if they're playing like a Man United or a Chelsea or something like that, I'm rooting them on.
All right. People saying Sane, too much wages. Do you guys know he's on like 280K?
I mean,
he's
even
on
if we take out, let's forget wages for now. Let's not try and pocket watch. Like Leroy Sané will he move the needle for Arsenal? It's a question. And like
maybe.
for me, if a player moves the needle and gets us over the line, then I don't care what your wages are. Because at this stage, let me tell you what's going to happen. If you bring in the right pieces, you win the Premiership, you win one domestic league cup, right? By some error in the world, you get a double, right? I don't care what anybody wants to say that I'm paying these players. They just did what? They just warranted that money that they were paid. Literally.
Okay.
So you need players that can get you over the line. That's it. So I'm not of the school of thought right now, which is why I said if I were to do the deal after the Merino deal, because we just looked at the finances. We spent 76 million euros and made about 35 million euros. We didn't count the money we made from Lokonga and Tavares, which is another 12 plus 7, 19 million euros plus 35. So we've literally spent only about 20 something million euros as a club right now. I would take 130 after the Merino deal and just go slap it on Newcastle. Or here's 90 plus Ramsdale and Eddie Nketiah. Give me Isak. And I'm done. And then I'm done for the season. Let's go.
Look, Leroy Sané.
I'm not gonna lie. I think when it comes to transfers in general, we have slightly improved, and Arsenal deserves a little bit more credit.
No, yeah. I mean, here's my thing. We have improved, but we're still on the low end of transfers when it comes to how clubs are doing. Brighton.
You know why though? Because none of the players we're selling are of the caliber of a Havertz. I mean, of a Havertz or of a friggin'
no. But I'm saying like, but let me ask you a question.
If we were to sell,
how is Brighton selling? How is Brighton selling Caicedo? One season.
If we were to sell our first team players that are currently starters, then we would make ridiculous returns. The reason why Chelsea, Man United, Tottenham are all making record sales, even friggin' Man City, because Julian Alvarez is 24 years old and has completed football. Friggin'.
I hear you, Gal. I hear you on that. And
you're right.
Lukaku leaving, Man United. He left for decent money also because they just paid a lot of money for him a couple of years ago. Arsenal, what we do is we sign Lacazette for 53 million. If we were to receive a 50 million offer, the next year we would not accept it because we want to still believe in the investment. Even though 2 years down the line, we're going to let him go on a free.
But we've learned our lesson now, and now we don't keep anybody. Emil Smith-Rowe, it's time to go. It's time to go. Like this is why I like this is why I said if you want to act like a big club, act like a big club. Sometimes you might need to cut your losses and say, listen, all right, for this season we might because I'm going to make a loss, but I'll be under FFP and PSR.
Fabrizio's a snake, Fabrizio Romano's a snake. Look at what he put. Why is he mentioning Arsenal? We didn't speak to Zubimendi since January.
And
Why
no,
is
but
he
he's
mentioning?
but what he's saying, this is the, but I said this at the beginning of the stream. I said Martin Zubimendi rejecting Liverpool is not because this is something that he's done to other teams. That's his behavior. He's done it to, and he's outlining, he's saying he's done it to Arsenal, he's done it to Bayern, and that's just his thing. He rejects clubs. So it is what it is. You know, he's not dissing us. I don't see any, he's stating facts.
Anyways, guys, I'm gonna have to wrap it up here. Final thing is Arsenal ready for the Premier League season? Yes. Is Arsenal's transfer window a success? No, not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
We still got a lot of time. Don't lose your heads. There's a lot of people losing their heads. Calma. If you lose your head before the window's over and we go and sign 3 players, you're gonna look like an idiot. So calm down, relax. You can be a little upset in the moment, but just understand nothing is done. And by the way, if you still want to lose your head, by all means, go ahead. It doesn't. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just warning you in the case that you do get overly emotional about something that doesn't end up happening in the first place. So yeah, the window isn't over yet. So
when the window is over, then everybody will see me.
It could be worse. You could be a Liverpool fan.
You'll see my meltdown when the window is closed and we don't do anything. That's when you see my meltdown.
There you go.
But now I'm just like, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed.
Bro,
you guys
did you see the meltdown today when Eddie didn't, when the Marseille deal fell apart? Hilarious. Anyways, guys, I'm out of here. People saying I'm making excuses. Vamos, you're a Real Madrid fan. You haven't signed a center back and you're talking about everybody else. Chat. Anyways, we're out of here, people. Peace.